So we have a very, very special guest with us today, and it's none other than a leading broadcaster, analyst, everything you can call in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's none other than Andre Baptise himself. Andre, how are you, my friend? Hope all is well with you.
I am okay, Simon. Very okay. This Monday morning, bright and early, very okay.
Very nice. Good to hear from you. And how things in Trinidad and Tobago right now?
Well, actually, as I speak to you right now, Simon, I should tell you that the Trinidad and Tobago football team is doing their final practice session right now at the Hazelby Crawford Stadium. It will finish in Trinidad and Tobago time at about 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock Trinidad and Tobago time, it should finish. And then the team will have a little final meeting, and then they depart for Jamaica on Wednesday.
Okay, wonderful. I was speaking with Sean Fuentes, the media officer of TTFA. Do you know when they'll make the squad public to the country and
Yes, yes. I think this afternoon. After this training session, this afternoon, the team will be announced.
Okay. And tell me, what is the mood like in the country right now, in relation to football, COVID and, a little before that with the FIFA situation? Is it like a bit of apathy for football in Trinidad, or the interest is starting to grow up again in the country?
I think apathy is the right word there, Simon. There's some expectation because besides the Jamaican matches for Trinidad and Tobago's national team, on Friday, our Premier League finally restarts in Trinidad and Tobago at the Jamaica Oval with a double header. And people are hesitantly looking forward to see how that works out, to see what sort of form the players are going to be. Remember, there's been no football here since COVID, no actual Premier League football here since COVID. National team has been playing matches, but been playing matches with no football being played. So nobody knows what to expect. So far, there are 10 teams, 12 teams registered, but we've been told only 10 teams meet the requirements. We'll see what happens on Friday, obviously. But I think there is light expectation, not much hype, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Fully understand what you mean. Now, in relation to the training and everything with Trinidad and Tobago, do you know how long they were in camp? Because I know they took a short break for Carnival. Is that correct?
Yes, they took a short break for Carnival. So they would have been in camp for maybe, I would say, give or take 16, 17 days maximum in between.
All right. Not a bad time frame. And what is the mood like in the country, amongst the experts, the journalists, the media, the entire country around Angus Eve being in charge, a former national player being in the hot seat as well?
I think it's well received. I think a lot of people remember what he would have done when he now came into the team after Terry Fenwick left or was terminated, one of the two, or the case maybe, and he took the team to the Gold Cup, qualified for the Gold Cup, and then drew our first match against Mexico 0-0. I think that raised the level of expectation. Of course, we didn't move on. We lost one and drew the other one. But since then, the team has been playing some tough matches. Most of the matches outside of Trinidad and Tobago, they would have won a tournament that they played involving Guyana, a three-way tournament here. So I think there's a lot of optimism, but people are willing to give Angus Eve some time because he has a team that has not been playing any football at all. So I think they want to see him at least be able to have players playing football and then pick a proper team.
Yeah, Trinidad and Tobago has always had overseas coaches in the past, going back to Simoes and Clovis and Ian Porterfield back in the day, and you mentioned Terry Fenwick recently as well, Leo Ben Haka. Do you get the sense that Angus Eve might be the man for the job for the qualifiers, or it's just a right now and we'll see what happens next year or after the Gold Cup?
I think Angus Eve right now is certainly the man for the job. And when I say right now, I mean right now in terms of qualifying for the World Cup. And he has a lot of the players on his side. Because he played with them, he has a lot of the players on his side. But in football, things turn, eh? I mean, I'm sure when Theodore Whitmore went into the team, everybody, because he's such a great reggae boy, people like him. Same thing here. Angus Eve is the most capped Trinidad and Tobago player. So he's well loved for his knowledge and his experience. But you know how it goes, one or two bad results and everybody wants their head. That's how it is. But right now, he's certainly the right person for the job.
Right. So as you're aware, two big games for Trinidad, with the Nations League against Bahamas and Nicaragua could be crucial towards the Gold Cup and everything. The move towards Jamaica, what are people saying about Jamaica? Do they look at it as like it was 20 years ago, the Caribbean Classico, or people look at it as, well, it's just another game and preparation ahead of those big Nations League games to come?
The latter. In most cases, people see that there's another game. They don't see that as a Classico because, again, it's probably the same reason. They don't have Russell Latapia and Dwight York on one side and Shaka Hislop. They don't have Whitmore and all these other Dublin and Dion Burton, and all these players on the other side for Jamaica. So not much is known about this Jamaican team, obviously, because we know it's going to be a lot of local players. And similarly, the Trinidad and Tobago team is probably going to have, not probably, most likely in terms of mainly local players, but one or two players who have not been signed up by the US franchise. So Kenwyn Jones might be on the team, and Neville Hackshaw. Those are some of the names of players that you might know and expect certainly to be on the team and to be right there.
Right. And as you know, there's a couple of former players also with Angus Eve in the support staff as well. Clayton Ince, who went to Germany for the World Cup. John Michael Williams, a former goalkeeper as well. Derek King, Carrington. How much have they played a role in as well, helping Angus Eve as well, having these former national players part of the program?
Yeah, I think all of them have played a part at one time or the other, because again, what Angus has done is he tried to get players involved who the players will know and respect, who would have played the game at the highest level, who the players can talk to, can relate to, and that helps. That helps. It's gonna really be left to see. I think we're all interested, Simon, to see what happens in the first game on Saturday, how the team plays, and also again obviously on the Tuesday. So I mean, from that point of view, but there is expectation. I think in the coaching circles, they are very ecstatic and looking forward to it, because these two matches are most likely going to be Trinidad and Tobago's only two matches before they go into those. The planned match they had in the USA didn't materialize. So these two matches are really our last two matches for the team to get together.
Yeah. For you, is the result the most important thing, or is it about that preparation and the team to gel ahead of the Nations League, or you wouldn't mind both?
I definitely think everybody wants both, but for me personally, I would rather there's the team to see how the team plays, because sometimes you could get, I mean, people might find this on not understanding this, but I know you do. You could get a false result in a game. You could play all the best football in the world, and somebody could score a lucky goal and win. That's good on the day. But if you look into the future, the team who plays all the best football normally over a period of time will succeed, obviously. And that's just how it is. So I really want to see how good they play. Not necessarily that they sneak a lucky goal and win. That's good in terms of building the spirit. But when they play against stronger teams, they will obviously lose.
Understand. So there's some persons on the island that have some questions in relation to former national players. If you have some updates, I would like you to let me know. Sure. What do you know what Kenwyn Jones is up to? Arnold Warwick, you know what these guys are up to right now?
Okay, no. So Kenwyn Jones was up until last year. He would have been the national women's coach. Since then, that contract finished. He went on and he coached Queen's Royal College during the secondary schools football league. And I think since then he's there, he's upgrading himself. So he's doing more and more licenses. But he's in Trinidad and Tobago, and that's the latest on him so far, honestly. Now there is some talk, I must tell you, Simon, that he could be involved in one of these teams from Friday, but nothing has materialized, so we don't know officially.
Okay, understand. And finally, in relation to FIFA and their committee and everything like that, do you know if progress has been made? The TTFA working closely with FIFA, seeing eye to eye with everything so far?
I think the normalization committee seeing eye to eye with FIFA. The problem though is the delegates, whether the delegates agree with it, because the delegates have said that they are going to give this group another year, which they have, but they're hoping that things change. And one of the things, when last I spoke with you, and they have been talking about, is the constitution, obviously, and in terms of who will become the next Trinidad and Tobago Football Association president. So that's going to be interesting to see how that materializes.
All right, very, very, very compelling times ahead. My friend, truly appreciate it. Thanks very much for having on. We have to link up one of these days, man.
Always. Certainly, and look forward and keep us up to date, because I'll be keeping in touch with you, obviously, with the matches to be played in Jamaica. Most likely, I'll try to talk to you again on Monday after the game on Saturday. So take care. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, then, my friend. Take care.